Welcome back once again, everybody, to Hoops HD. It
Woohoo!
is past midnight here. It's now actually Tuesday, March 11th. And this is our championship week video notebook, day number ninth day of the week.
Wow. Yeah.
What
Woo!
a
It's been
long
a
week it was. I'm
it's been
Chad
a long
Sherwood,
day.
David Dorman, the puppet David Griggs down there, locked
Yeah.
away safely from everybody.
When are you going to let me out? What? You,
Uh,
you you do know that Joe Lenardi isn't actually in a bunker. He's in a studio that they're calling a bunker, and he's not locked in. Like he can come and go. He sleeps at home. He goes to lunch. He does all the kinds of things that I can't do
well,
in this
Griggs,
crappy
that's
place.
because what we do is even better than what Lenardi does. We really lock the puppet away in the puppet bunker.
I don't think it's better.
And look at that. You even got a friend today. Look at that little
Yeah,
mouse
well,
there, a
I
little
mean,
rat in the corner there.
now we
Woo!
got rats in here. A TV that doesn't work. There's no mattress.
It's
Yeah.
company. It's a pet. You should feel
Talk to him.
happy.
You're not
Oh,
alone.
You're not alone anymore.
yeah.
Um, okay, give me half a second here. Um, let's see. We lost the screen there for a second. And there we go. Sorry, a little technical glitch there. And we got Mike Chott, and that was uh,
That was the
so
glitch. Mike just
Magic.
popped up. He just appeared.
the glitch was I had to get him in the invitation here, but Mike is joining us as well, and we were just discussing David Griggs' new pet here in the Puppet Bunker and ready to start talking about college hoops. So let's get going here about the games today. We had two automatic bids given out. Let's start off. Let's start out in the SoCon, which was Dorman. Let me start with you. This was a fun little game here between Furman and Wofford.
This was awesome. This might have been the best game of the week so far. Absolutely. It was great. It was back and forth, shots being made. The turnovers were down. There wasn't a lot of fouling going on. It was great. Woodford just hit too many shots for Furman down the stretch. Furman had a lead about like 5 or 6 with about 5 minutes left, and Woodford was just too much in the end. And they go dancing. Here comes Woodford again.
Yeah, here they come. They actually had a big lead early in
Yeah.
the first half. Wofford jumped out. Then here came Furman. And how about that, Mike? Just like I called last night, Wofford was going to win the SoCon tournament.
No, yeah. That's right. Just yeah, wink, wink, just like you predicted.
Little editing there, little editing. Yeah, but
Um,
how dangerous is this team, Mike? Do you think this team could scare somebody in the tournament?
Um, be about a 15. Yeah, I think I don't think they'll win the first game, but I think they could give let's say if they're a 15 that they can give that two seed a pretty good game. They can give them a good run for the money.
it
Yeah,
was. This was one of the best. Well, the two best games that they played that I saw them play this year were the road win against Furman and then the win against Furman tonight. So if they end up facing Furman in the round of 64, I think they could do pretty well.
Yeah,
yeah.
Wofford's got the state bragging rights here.
Yeah.
See that Battle of
The
South Carolina.
Yeah, I didn't really like this rivalry has a nickname. One of all the under the years we've covered it, we knew it was a big rivalry. It's the biggest rivalry in the SoCon, but the I-85 rivalry, I didn't know it had a name, but it
It
does.
needs a lot better name than that.
Yeah, it
Like
does. Yeah,
like the Waff Man or the Fur
yeah,
Ford or I don't know.
right.
We need Salika here to come
Yeah,
up
we
with a
need
name.
Stalika here.
Needs a trophy. Needs a
Yeah,
trophy.
We can make it a trophy. We'll get to that
yeah,
later in the show.
yeah.
It was also championship game in. Oh, wait, we didn't play it. We need to play it for one last time.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Oh yes.
man, I'm gonna miss
The
this song.
final, the end. We have hit the conclusion of the Stairway to Seven. And the Troy Trojans end up at top of the stairway, Griggs, and go into the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, this tournament is so long that it's almost half of championship week. Because it's a full week. But Troy kind of it was close for much of the game, but they kind of opened it up at the end, and God, they looked good in the three games that they played. They kind of blasted their way through everything. I really thought Arkansas State they had a phenomenal year. I thought they had the strongest profile. May I would have guess that they were probably best positioned to get the best seed largely because of that win at Memphis, and therefore have the best chance of maybe winning a game in round of 64. But Scott Cross and Troy finally breaking through to the NCAA tournament. He's a phenomenal coach. He's done well this year, and they're finally going. I don't know how they'll do, but it's just great to see him in there.
Yeah, they got some talent on the team. I
They
think
do.
I think they could give somebody a scare. Um,
Yeah.
but Dorman, here they are. They've won the weirdest tournament we've ever seen, and we'll see whether or not we see this format again next year. But
I think they're sticking with it.
they are.
Really?
Okay.
That'll
Yeah,
be interesting.
yeah.
I didn't hate it actually.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It
I
was-
loved
Keep
I
the
loved
format.
Yeah, I love the storyline that it gave to the regular season because if you followed under the radar, which I know we got a lot of people watching that maybe didn't, every week it was, my God, this game determines whether a team's going to be first or sixth because I think one or two games separated the top 8 teams for the longest time.
Big
Yeah,
difference.
you had teams like Texas State that had a pretty good season, but it was an impossible test for them. They didn't get
Yeah,
through one game, but it was an impossible task, really. They would have had to
yeah,
win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games or something like that.
yeah.
Um, let's move on. First of all, congrats to Troy there in the NCAA tournament. But let's move on to the conference of the night. These were just absolutely amazing games, absolutely amazing storylines. Of course, Dorman, I'm talking about the great games in the Big Sky.
Wow.
Wow.
I
We
meant
did
the
that.
coastal. I meant the Coastal Athletic
Oh, the
Association. Of course.
coastal.
Let's start at the top. And how about those
Blue Hens.
Delaware fighting Blue Hens?
The Blue Hens, unbelievable. Earlier tonight, I believe we figured out this would be the highest seed in a conference tournament to ever win it. Correct, Jed?
That is correct. No 12 seed. We've seen a couple 10s. We saw what basically would have been an 11 when Georgia won the SEC, although they were technically an East 6 seed, but never seen a 12 seed win. Never seen a 12th place team in a conference win a conference tournament before.
But when you give underdogs momentum, they get confidence. And that's what we see in the tournament next week. Why everyone loves Cinderella is because you give them confidence, you let them stay in the game, they start hitting shots. All of a sudden, you feel like you're as good or better than these other teams. And they've played all these teams. They're not going to be intimidated. There's nothing they're going to see tomorrow night that they didn't see during the regular season. They just played. They weren't playing well during the regular season.
No.
They won 5 games all year in the conference. They just couldn't put it together. But sometimes in conference tournaments, you just put it together. It just starts clicking. You start hitting shots. And again, confidence starts rolling. And here they are. And they got a big shot tomorrow night. And I don't think it's that crazy that they could do this.
They got the
it
depth
would
to
be
win.
crazy. It would be certifiable. What they've done already is crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah,
But what they've got is the depth to win 5 in 5 days. They had 6 players at double figures today. 6 players. They just need 3 of them to come through with great games, and they could take down this Wilmington team, I think.
I don't. We've seen. Well, we've not seen anything quite like this, or if we have, it's not something you see every year. There's 31 conference tournaments every year, and in the last 15 years, something like this has happened. You mentioned the Georgia winning the SEC. That was probably the craziest or most incredible. I believe Holy Cross won 4 true road games after not winning a road game at all during the season to win the Patriot one year.
They were they were 9th out of 10 teams too.
Georgia was crazy because they had to win in 2 different arenas.
Yeah, they
with no
did.
with no audience in the
Yeah.
last couple games.
In-
They played 3 games in 30 hours, if I recall correctly. They
Yeah,
had to play-
it was something. That one will never, ever, ever be topped. They had to play 2 games in one day. A thunderstorm or a tornado hit the arena. It was just the
The
most.
Georgia Dome.
Yeah, but by the end of the game, it was the SEC championship on it was a
ACC
CBS
court.
telecast being aired on ESPN and being played on an ACC floor. That just isn't going to happen again. But this is pretty bonkers, and to think that they sweated out their opening round game, then played a much better Campbell team and beat them by more, and then beat an even better William and Mary team by even more, and then Towson was never really in the game in the second half.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Griggs,
it's
I
been
got
no
I,
fluke. Their last three wins have been by double digits.
Yeah,
No fluke.
but I've got to say today's the day that really woke me up about this team because Stony Brook obviously expected them to win that game. Campbell has been missing their best player for about a month now. I thought they
yeah.
had a shot there. William and Mary's been so hot and cold all season. This was a cold game. It doesn't shock me. This is the game that shocked me today, and that's why I say I'm all in. Let's do it.
Blue Hens.
Let's put the Fighting Blue Hens. They're going to be playing no matter what their last CAA game ever tomorrow. They're off to Conference USA next year.
Yeah.
Let's go out with a win and an NCAA tournament berth. Why not?
And they might win their NCAA tournament game because I guarantee you I know where they're going.
They're going. They're going to go play something like the Ohio Valley champion in Dayton in the
Yeah,
first round.
right. Yeah.
This was the same conference that didn't want a different school to play in their conference tournament a couple of years ago because they were leaving the conference. But they let Delaware in.
And they changed the rules, and now Delaware got to play, and Delaware's saying goodbye to the conference in their own
Happened
way.
to Georgia State, didn't it? Like they couldn't play when they went to the Sun Belt. So
Mike, it was also semifinal day in the Horizon League, and it was also a pair of very fun games. Let's start with that first one there. Overtime between Morris Robert, yes, it is Morris Robert,
yeah,
Yeah.
and Oakland in a great game,
Yeah.
which Oakland was up big, and Bobby Moe came back.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, being in Michigan, there's a lot of sentiment for Oakland. We remember their run last year, upsetting Kentucky and giving NC State a good game, and we were hoping maybe history can repeat itself. And like you said, they were leading. They looked like Oakland was going to advance to the finals, but give credit to Morris Robert. They fought, they clawed back, and they eventually won the game. Good run for Oakland, but it falls short here. So give much credit to. Is it Morris Robert or Robert Morris
it's
official?
Robert.
Well, let's check the uniforms. Yes, it's definitely
Yeah.
Morris Robert.
Okay, Morris Robert. But give credit to
Bobby
Morris
Moe.
Robert
Call him
because
Bobby
it
Moe,
looked
Mike.
like they were
Bobby
going to
Moe.
advance it, but they fought back and they won the game. So good. So kudos to them.
Um,
Griggs, and how about this late game
oh,
that just ended before we start our show here tonight? Ty
oh,
Harper with the foul on the three-pointer, and then the last play was just absolutely crazy when Cleveland State had a shot to tie.
yeah. I mean, it was it was crazy. Cleveland State, it looked like they were going to run away from the league. I want to say that in the second half of conference play, they led by as many as 3 games and then just sort of went into a tailspin. And but Youngstown State, I don't ever remember them doing this well in a conference tournament. It's up until recently they weren't good at all. Like
This is
we
their
all
first ever conference tournament final ever.
yeah, ever. And
Wow, I
we
didn't know
all
that.
had we
Go
all had
Penguins.
Penguin finger last year when they were a conference front runner, but they lost. I forget at what round, but I think it was the semis last year. But here they are back in it, and just what a moment for this program.
Yeah, you
Um,
got two schools separated by about an hour drive, so there's some regional rivalry here.
yeah, and
And what do you what do you think? Who's going to win this game tomorrow?
I'm going to go with a sentimental pick. I think after watching Robert Morris kind of struggle today. Robert Morris is the sensible pick, but I'm going with the Penguins. I just think they somehow go in there and get it done.
Yeah, Dorman, you with him?
Penguins. I got
Penguin
Penguin fever.
Yeah,
Mike, come on, we
Waddle,
make it
waddle,
unanimous.
waddle.
We're making it
Waddle,
unanimous.
waddle.
Penguin fever. Penguin fever. Here we go.
Robert Morris.
Um,
They've been to the tournament. They got to host Kentucky one year. Youngstown State's never had a moment like this.
Yep, they have it. Well,
Oh
that was
yeah,
an
that's right. They
that was an
NIT.
NIT game
I
where they
remember that.
hosted
Yes,
Kentucky.
it
Yeah.
was.
Wow, 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 wow.
Uh,
Think of the Batman villain.
Yeah,
Over in the West Coast Conference, St. Mary's absolutely sent Pepperdine back to.
yeah,
Well, they do get to go
Reality.
back. They do get to go back to the beach, and they are at
yeah,
Pepperdine, so I can't
Low
complain too
tide.
much.
yeah.
But they are in
The
the
gale,
in the
strong
finals.
winds, too much for the waves.
Yeah.
Uh, Dorman, they're going to be going up against we don't know who. We're at about halfway through the game right now, and San Fran is right in there with Gonzaga. And I guess we're going to have to discuss tomorrow night what actually happened in the end of this Gonzaga San Francisco game because it's the first night we've had that wasn't a blowout in the late game we didn't
Yeah.
wait for.
No, this is a game. We're going to halftime with the Dons have a short little lead. I believe they're up 2 points at the half here. I believe it's 37-35. And I thought San Francisco would be okay last night. They're missing their one of their second leading scorer, Williams. And when you lose a scorer on your team, and you got to go up against a power team like Gonzaga, it hurts. And you got to have someone else has got to step up and got to hit shots that doesn't usually do that. And so far, after 20 minutes, the Dons have hit shots and they look good. And they're actually playing some solid D. Gonzaga has not shot the ball well again.
And I've been saying the last couple of weeks here, I thought Gonzaga after that second St. Mary's loss really turned it around. I thought this team looked like a team on a mission. And we'll see what happens. If they could come out the second half and run away with this game.
Yeah.
But if they don't, and if they actually lose this game, I got change my mind about the Zags again.
Me
And we got to
too.
talk about the chance that we have a legitimate bid steal chance tomorrow night with the Dons against the
If you're a
Gales.
bubble team, you're rooting for Gonzaga tonight for sure.
Very hard. And then for the
Right.
Gales, it's really hard tomorrow if that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and this would be a remarkable win for San Francisco. They're facing. We're not going to get into the specifics because I don't want to repeat the rumors. I really don't. But we'll say
No.
that like they're dealing with severe off the court issues that could have possibly been somewhat distracting. And for them
Yeah.
to come in like this, that focused, wow.
Yeah. Let's jump over to the Big Sky Conference for real this time.
Yeah.
We had, Griggs, a pair of complete snoozers today.
Yeah.
Montana State, who I
Jeez.
told you last night, these Bobcats somehow when they get to Boise for the Big Sky tournament, they just wake up. And
Yeah.
what kind of surprised me because I thought Portland State had been playing well at the end of the season. Idaho just rolled them.
Yeah, a real good win by Idaho. I'm with you. I thought Portland State would, if anything, it would have been the opposite. But Idaho into the semifinals, that's kind of exciting, taking on Montana and a little bit of a border war there.
Yeah.
Not only is it border war, but is that not a top range game?
It's a top, it is a top range game.
That's right.
Yeah,
Check out the mythical standings up there on the mythical conference standings up there on the website. We'll maybe have to update them by the end of the week because I know we got a couple mythical games still to go here in
yeah.
conference tournaments. Dorman, what about these two games tomorrow? Northern Colorado, Montana State, Montana, Idaho. Do you think either of the lower seeds could pull off the upset?
I'm always looking for upsets. I always love the underdog stories. Here I am going to look for Montana to play Northern Colorado. I think the two best teams in the conference. They've done it all year long. Northern Colorado is been the class. I think they're the strongest, most talented team as this conference tournament has started. So I would like to see Northern Colorado, the Bears, take on the Grizz of Montana for the title.
I'm kind of with you. It was kind of what we said all season, though, was
Yeah, it
during the
was.
radar shows was the rest of the teams were just playing just to see who gets to lose to these two teams, and these two
Yeah,
teams were going to be meeting in that final. So we'll
We're
see if that
right
comes
there.
true tomorrow.
yeah.
Uh, Mike, it was also, guess, quarterfinal round day in the Southland, and we actually had a pair of really fun games here
Hmm.
between Northwestern State, Corpus Christi, and Nichols Incarnate Word.
Yeah, great night if your school starts with the letter N. Both of the N schools won, and two good games on unlike the previous unlike the Big Sky. We got some good games, no snoozers here. Let's see, 66. Yeah, chalk prevailed, so we got the top four seeds playing each other tomorrow night. So congratulations to Nichols and Northwestern State for winning tonight. Enjoy it for a few hours, and then get ready for tomorrow.
Yeah,
Okay, so
Micah Thomas with a three with about 17 seconds left for Northwestern State, and then some missed free throws by Corpus Christi. They really had a shot in this game that they let slip away, and I know they were upset that they thought they should have been the four seed. Well, if you should have been the four seed, you should have won this game because you would have been playing them anyhow. So,
yeah, good point there.
and it's not like they were tired. They didn't give. I mean, they crushed Houston Christian the day before. It wasn't really much of a game. So,
Yeah, I mean, I really thought they were going to come out here and just full force, but kind of a disappointing showing. So, as far as moving forward, here's my question to you guys. If seeds 2 through 8 all combined and formed an all-star team out of those 7 teams, how badly would McNeese beat them?
10, 11.
Yeah, I think we're going to have Dorman, though, I think we're really are going to have a good game tomorrow. I mean, it's the Lamar
Yeah,
Nichols game.
Lamar
It's not
Nichols. Yeah, I agree.
yesterday.
That will be a good game. I
Yeah.
agree. I like Nichols.
Yeah, I could see Nichols pulling off the mild upset here, and Nichols did beat McNeese during the regular season,
Yeah,
but
only team
I
to do it. So,
I don't think it's going to happen again. I don't.
yeah.
That was it for today's action. We have a couple of conferences that we're getting back to tomorrow that we have, including championship game in the Northeast Conference. St. Francis going to Central Connecticut. We've got our Zach Singer going to be on location for this.
On location, yes.
Yeah.
He's already there. So,
Mike, what do you
In
think?
line.
Who do you think is going to win this thing?
I'm gonna go with the Seacon. Uh, I mean that's not going out on a limb because they're the top
No.
seed, but St. Francis is the third seed. They're not chopped liver. It's gonna be a good game, but I'm gonna go with Central Connecticut.
Yeah, no,
I would be stupefied if Central Connecticut did not win this at home.
I'll tell you that St. Francis showed me something because they were down big against Long Island, came all the way back and won that game. Meanwhile, Central
Yeah.
Connecticut was up big on Fairleigh Dickinson and blew that lead.
It almost blew it hard.
Yeah, they did. They needed overtime to win the game.
Yeah.
Dorman, I'm going to call it. I'm going St. Francis.
Are you drunk?
Wow.
Wow.
I
I'm
was
calling
gonna
the
say-
upset.
Wow, I was going to say, be careful, Zach, because we're all on your team, but apparently we're not. I'm with Greg's. I'd be stunned if Central Connecticut, if the Blue Devils don't get this done on their home court. They've been the best team in the conference by far all year long. They've been waiting for this for a long time. I do think they get it done at home. This atmosphere will be electric.
I think it will be electric, but because Zach will be there, that's why I'm choosing St. Francis.
Yeah.
We are also back in action in the America East, and it is semifinal day.
Woohoo.
And Griggs, how about this? Albany at Bryant, and how about them Black Bears at Vermont, where they've lost 30 consecutive games to Vermont?
Yeah, and it's still a shame that New Hampshire could not hold on and beat Vermont and give Maine another home game. That would have been amazing. Vermont, Bryant. Yeah, I think the home court's
I'll tell you what, though, I think Maine needs to be careful because if they do pull off the upset, we all know what happened to who was the last team to beat Vermont in the America East tournament. Last time it happened, it was when Hartford beat them on the way to the championship, and they got relegated down to
They
D3
got relegated.
afterwards.
Yeah.
So you don't want to mess with Vermont here because you may not have a program the following year. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, and your president is still a fool.
Do not mess with the Catamounts.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick the upset. I like Maine to go in to Burlington tomorrow night and come out victorious. I like the Black Bears.
Yes, let's go Bears. All right.
A sentimental favorite. Yeah.
That would be great. I am with great. I think we're going to see form hold here with both. Actually, I think Albany could give Bryant a game, but I think at the
If
end, Bryant's
Maine
gonna
and
pull it out.
Albany win, we're going.
I was thinking more of an Albany Vermont final because that would kind of be
Yeah.
apropos that Vermont ends up getting to host the championship game after all that. But
Yeah. Yeah.
we have 6 conferences starting play tomorrow, so we got a bit more to go in this show. Beginning some of the major conferences kicking in here, including the ACC. It is opening round day here, Mike. I know you're excited for Notre Dame, Pitt, Vatech, Cal, and Florida State, Syracuse. Any thoughts at all about those 3 games?
Wow, cross country. Cal's got to go all the way, three times on 2,500 miles. But
And then they get to turn
Notre
around
Dame
tomorrow and
Pittsburgh
go
might
right
be more
there.
appealing in football. I mean, it looks like the olden days when Florida State, Syracuse, same thing. It might be more appealing
You
than
can just
football,
say
but this is basketball.
the most interesting thing I think here is if Cal can upset Vatech, we get Cal Stanford rivals here. In the
Oh, that's
second round.
right. Yeah, go Cal in that regards.
I'll say
Although a few
one
years
thing.
ago, Florida State, Syracuse would have been a good matchup in basketball. I mean, Florida State usually has had good teams, but this year not so much.
That's just atrocious. Leonard Hamilton,
Yes.
hopefully he gets to win one more. But I mean,
Yeah,
if you
1 second, Dorman, you had a comment first, and then
That's
Griggs.
exactly where I was going
Okay.
with Briggs. I Leonard Hamilton has been wonderful to the game. He has done wonderful things for so many young men, and it might be his last game. It's his last weekend of coaching, but he's been great to the game of college basketball. We wish him all the best. That's a little storyline tomorrow night.
Yeah, but if you're watching TV tomorrow afternoon, watch something else.
Real quick run through each of you. Who is going to end up winning this tournament? Dorman?
I'm going to go with a little upset here. I think Duke kind of takes a whatever stance here. I'm going Clemson.
You're going Clemson. Griggs?
Yeah.
I'm going Duke. They may not come out breathing, but they could sleepwalk and beat either Georgia Tech or Virginia. And then in the next round, they're playing a rival, either Wake or North Carolina. They're not going to sleepwalk through that. And then once they get to the final, they might as well just go ahead and try and win it. So I'm going with Duke.
Mike?
I'm going to go with Duke. I mean, I really think they're clearly the class of the conference. I'm going to go with Duke.
I think the only thing really worth watching this tournament, honestly, is what does North Carolina do? Can they get that first win and stay on the bubble? Can they beat Wake and maybe find a way to slip into the NCAA tournament with just that win? If they beat Duke, I mean, I think they're probably going to be in.
Yeah,
I think Duke will win this tournament.
Yeah.
One interesting game I'd like to see in the semis Friday night. I'd like to see Louisville play Clemson. I'd like to find out a little bit more about each of those two. That would be a good game.
The probability of that is high.
High, not guaranteed. Both Stanford and SMU have had life at times this season.
Yeah.
Big 12 opening day, the first of our full 16 teams conference tournaments. We've got TCU, Colorado, Oklahoma State, Cincinnati, K-State, Arizona State, Utah, UCF. Dorman, first of all, anything you see in these 4 games?
Let's see in these. It's Jamie Dixon's Horned Frogs of TCU have shown life at times this year. 3 weeks ago, you and I, Chad, actually thought they were about to get into the bubble discussion after a nice little win streak, but then they decided to drop a bunch in a row and their bubble burst. I do think Jamie Dixon gets past a Colorado team tomorrow. The Buffaloes don't have much. And Cincinnati, Oklahoma State will be interesting. I believe Cincinnati was in Oklahoma State just over this past weekend. Oklahoma State
lost.
took care of them at home. So Bearcats looking for revenge on the Hokies.
Yeah, I think that K-State and I think K-State and probably Utah are going to win the bottom games. I just think Utah may get one, but in the end, I personally think that all 4 of tomorrow's winners will lose on Wednesday. I'm going to go, though, Griggs. I'm going to go with Arizona to win this event. I think that BYU upsets Houston in the semifinal and Arizona over them in the championship game. That's my call.
Really?
Which means BYU beats Iowa State. So we're going to have a lot of resumes moving around here.
Yeah, I still got to go with Houston, but Arizona's a sensible pick. I think if BYU gets by Houston, they win it, though. But one of the things I don't know, but like as far as the all tournament team goes, Bobby Hurley is not voting for it.
Mike, every time I look at this event here, I see like we could have quarterfinals of BYU and Iowa State and Arizona and Kansas in the quarterfinal round only in this event. This is going to be an insane event once we get past tomorrow and Wednesday's games, is it not?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this tournament. I mean, you got so many good teams in this conference. I know Houston's going to be the favorite and rightly so, but I'm going to go with Texas Tech.
Okay.
That's a good pick too.
Good pick. But that was a good
Texas Tech, they've beaten Houston, and they've shown they can win away from home. So why not?
Yeah.
The only other question I have is, does Kansas know how to get to Kansas City on Wednesday? Because they've never been there on a Wednesday before, I don't think.
Yeah.
Or they've never
right.
not gotten that double bye into the quarterfinals. Wow. And they could probably even win this tournament. So
they might.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's got to be
is.
the lowest seed for them ever. 6th seed. That's very low for Kansas.
Yeah. We also are starting things off. And one of the tournaments, Griggs, that we've been looking forward to, honestly, a lot here is Conference USA. Rocket City Madness, as we're calling it. They're calling it Rocket City Hoops. But
I missed the curtain.
I know.
They are in Rocket City, though. I gave them a little credit for that. Come on.
But the curtain is gone. Oh, the curtain
Gri-
was a magnificent creation.
Griggs, first
Beautiful.
of all, UTEP against a Sam Houston team that got a little hot down the stretch, and Western Kentucky
Yeah,
FIU tomorrow.
and as early as the thing about this tournament is that like 8 of the teams are good or
Maybe
relatively.
9.
Yeah, because you mentioned Sam Houston. Western Kentucky should sleepwalk and beat FYU, but the winner of this Sam Houston UTEP game, regardless of who it is, it's not crazy to think that they could compete with Liberty and even beat them.
I'll tell you,
I mean, that's how much parity there was in this league this year.
I'll tell you what though, FIU gave Jacksonville State a game late in the season, so they may even have a little bit of life in them. But
Yeah.
Dorman, who wins this event? I think should we just pick one name out of the hat and just move on?
You might as well because there's so many teams that win it can win this. I'm going with Kennesaw State.
Yeah, I could see that. I
Mike? Oh, then I'll go to you, Gertz.
oh okay. I picked Liberty because I just think that they have the highest ceiling and the best metrics, but that's who I picked in the Jerome, but I'm so far back in the Jerome I don't even think it matters. I'm gonna go with this one's gonna shock. I'm gonna go with New Mexico State. They've
Mexico's
had some really good moments. They've had some bad ones, but if they start to click, but I just said that this is just how this tournament's going to go. I just said that Dorman's pick was good. New Mexico State is who they're playing in the first game.
I'm going to in the end, no matter how good these games are going to be, I think Liberty's going to find a way.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the top seed, believe it or
I'll
not.
go with the Blue Raiders of MTSU.
That's a
Good
good pick
pick.
too. I was
That's
actually
a
looking at
great
that
pick.
one.
Yeah.
You just never know. There's no dominant team in this conference.
Yeah.
For a while, Jacksonville State wasn't. None of us were even going with Jack State.
Yeah.
It is also first round day right here in my backyard in Atlantic City, in the Metro Atlantic. Mike, we've got Ryder and Siena and Sacred Heart versus Fairfield. Fairfield gets into the Metro Atlantic by beating top seed Quinnipiac in the regular season finale to even get into this event. But your
Is
thoughts
that
on
going to
these?
be there too?
We normally dispatch them to the Metro Atlantic.
Yeah.
But Mike, any thoughts on tomorrow's games at all?
Not really. I mean, I'm like,
Good answer.
Yeah.
Me neither.
But seriously,
there's
though,
a reason why they're not on a major network. It's on
Yeah.
like Plus.
seriously though, who do you think wins this thing?
Oh,
Mike?
Mike.
I'm gonna
Okay.
go with Quinnipiac.
Quinnipiac. Yeah.
Quinnipiac?
Quinnipiac.
I'm going Merrimack. This will be their second ever conference tournament championship, but their first ever bid because obviously when they won it last time they were not eligible. I'm going Merrimack, Griggs.
I want to go Quinnipiac because they're one of those teams that always seems to finish high but never win the tournament. I think it would be really exciting if they did. Make it. We could have all four, like we could have Yale, UConn, Central Connecticut, and Quinnipiac all in the tournament. We're only missing Hartford
And Fairfield, but
in Fairfield. Well, yeah, Fairfield. I forgot that.
Dorman, how about you?
But
I'm going the Red Foxes of Marist.
Nice pick too. They had a great
Yeah.
season.
I'm
We'll talk
going
about this.
Marist. Yeah.
We'll talk about this again in a couple nights here. Note that we do have an Iona Manhattan
Woo-hoo!
quarterfinal.
Yes, we
but
do. Yeah.
That's not
One
coming
more
up till
time.
Thursday, but
Yeah.
it is also. I'm going to skip ahead here by one. It is opening round day in the WAC, and this is a neat little story here. The WAC is playing their conference tournament at the Orleans Arena, where the West Coast Conference is currently playing and playing its championship tomorrow. Therefore, the Orleans is not available tomorrow. So their opening round 8-9 game, they're playing a couple hours away in St. George, Utah. And this is the first time in a neutral court conference tournament, I believe, in history that we have games played in 2 different time zones because we have opening round in St. George, everything else in Vegas.
Yeah.
But all that being said, Utah Tech ends up actually getting a home game out of it because
They
St.
couldn't
George
find
is the
another
home.
arena in Las Vegas.
They could have played in there earlier in the day.
Yeah.
Well, they are playing it at 4:30. I don't know if maybe the West Coast women's game is in the afternoon though. So
What about noon?
Yeah.
no idea. All I know is that they're playing in St. George. They probably didn't want to play the freeze either. Southern Utah, Utah Tech. All I got to say about it It's a Beehive rivalry game,
Beehive game.
and the
yeah.
winner gets Utah Valley, which will be another Beehive game. So we don't care who wins. Both those games will be great games.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, huge Beehive standings implications there.
Griggs, who wins this event? Utah
Um,
Valley won the regular season by 2 games, but the Lopes
They
had so
did.
much talent.
The Lopes have so much talent, and I don't think I think the Lopes failed to show up at certain key moments throughout the year. I
They've been a
don't
little
think
hurt too.
yeah, I don't think they're going to fail to show up for this. I just think that they're so talented. I got to go with Grand Canyon.
Dorman?
I agree with Griggs. They're so talented. I don't understand why nothing has. I don't want to say nothing. They've had a solid year. It just doesn't seem like it's really clicking for Coach Drew's squad because they do have all this talent. They looked great last year in the tournament. Everyone thought that we had huge hopes for them.
Everybody's back. Yeah,
I know. What just it didn't? Do you agree, Griggs? Something just doesn't seem like it's clicking like
do.
it could be.
In October in our preseason
Yeah.
shows, I was saying that, but by the end of January, the Lopes would be in the top 25, and that this was a team that would go out on the first ballot. I
Right.
mean, in second place isn't bad. I mean, you don't want to get
Right.
too carried away, but I mean, this was a team that we all thought would not only be inside the bubble, but be in the top half of the bracket by the end of the year.
Yep. After knocking him, I'm sticking with him, and I'm going with Griggs. Bryce Drew gets it done.
Yeah.
Lopes.
Mike Lopes.
Yeah, I mean, part of me is rooting for Utah Valley just because of the
Yeah.
nickname Wolverines.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Grand Canyon. I agree. I think Grand Canyon has the better team, and they should win the tournament. We'll see.
I'm gonna take a little cue off of our good friend Rocco Miller from Bracketeer.org. And the team that he likes in this tournament, I'm going way off the top here.
Oh, I know where you're going.
I'm
And
taking Seattle
you
to
are
win this
making
entire
a
thing.
horrendous mistake.
I'm taking Seattle to upset Utah Valley and then knock off probably California Baptist in the finals. I think Grand Canyon, there's just something not clicking there, and it's not going to happen. They just
Utah
lost.
Valley's been so close so many years now in a row.
Yeah.
Lopes just
Never-
lost to Abilene Christian last game of the season. I don't have any faith in them anymore this season.
Yeah, Utah Valley, the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah.
So far.
Okay, it is also opening round day in the SWAC, where 10 out of 12 teams qualified. First of all, let's take a look at these games here. Griggs, Grambling versus Alabama A&M, FAMU versus Prairie View tomorrow. Any thoughts at all?
Not really.
Prairie View's pretty bad. I think that FAMU's going
Prairie
to blow
View
them out.
is a potential centenary team. Grambling should beat Alabama A&M. I think Grambling and FAMU move on, which gives us a Southern Grambling quarterfinal.
And first of all, congrats to the SWAC for moving the conference tournament to Georgia because they have so many Georgia teams. in
Yeah,
this
I mean,
conference.
just you like to see this Georgia right in the middle of the SWAC footprint, right in the middle of the Southwest Georgia.
Mike, who do you think is going to win this thing?
I'll go chalk. I'll go with Southern.
Southern's a good pick. Dorman, you with him?
No, I'm going Jackson State.
Jackson State. Griggs, you with him?
No, Southern. I'm with Mike.
I'm going to go with the team that I think is just so much fun to watch, and I don't really think they can win it, but I want
You're
them to.
going with Cookman.
I'm going Cookman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Good
but
pick.
I also got to say there's one little problem here. The conference only took 10 out of 12 teams. We don't see Arkansas Pine Bluff here, and most probably we don't see Mississippi Valley State here. And one of the most fun things this season has
Yeah.
been following the unofficial parody Mississippi Valley State Twitter account. And they had the most amazing tweet tonight, and I
Yeah.
got to put it up on the screen for us here.
It's
I
great.
cannot wait for this one.
Dear NCAA Selection Committee, we at Mississippi Valley State University feel we should be in the 2025 basketball tournament. We had the hardest non-conference SOS, transitive wins over everybody else. So practically they don't know you. America's team. And the second to last one, it would be funny.
We're going to
is
show
great.
this every night from the rest of the. That is brilliant.
Selection Committee, if you're watching, which you should be, and you
You
missed
should
this on
be.
Twitter, first of all, follow MVSU MBB. They're on the unofficial Valley account. best account, one of the best Twitter accounts out there. And second, they belong in. Put the
Yes.
Delta Devils in. We're on board with
Yes.
the Twitter account.
Oh, it is beautiful.
That's it for tomorrow's action. Let's go to our survival board. Right up here on the website. This is our service we do for the committee.
Yes.
And we've been tracking, among other things, how many teams are left with a shot to win it all. And heading into play today, there were 222 teams left.
Yeah.
As a result of all of today's action, we have 209. Oh, wow. We're going to drop under 200 tomorrow, aren't we?
Yeah. We eliminated more than I thought we did. Okay.
A couple extra teams came off because we did another scrub of the
Oh,
survival
yeah, we did
board,
a
but
scrub. Okay, yeah.
nice amount came off. We lost, what was it, 11, 12, 13 teams today, so that's not bad.
Yeah.
Even though we only had 12 games, so that's
12 games.
but both Santa Clara and Nebraska, who had been under consideration, have been officially eliminated, and they are now can't even be auto bid winners anymore. But
Yeah.
if we look down through this here, this kind of is a service we do for the committee, Griggs.
Yes,
And let's kind of scroll down here. Now, there are teams categorized in different ways. For example, we see Wofford there in
Yeah.
bold and all caps. They're an automatic bid winner. They're in no
Yeah.
matter what, correct?
Yeah, they're in no matter what. And the committee knows that because of this board. Without this board, they would not know that.
What if the committee came here and they're wondering about, say, Auburn? Say they
Auburn.
realize Auburn just lost to Alabama. Maybe they don't belong in. Should
Yeah,
we put
and-
them in?
Yeah, and I mean, the committee may think that they don't really. I mean, they could easily think that. That may have been the only time they saw Auburn play. But that's again why we do this board. They would look at this board and realize, oh no, Auburn belongs in.
What if one of the committee members saw Nichols win today in
Yeah.
overtime over at
Good
Carter
win.
Wood? Exciting game. And they thought maybe they should get an at-large bid.
Happens all the time. Because they just get. I mean, they probably didn't have time to start watching basketball before this week, and they just happened to catch the Nichols game, and they're like, "Well, we should select Nichols." It was an exciting game. I could see how they could make a mistake like that, but here on this board, no,
Auto
they
bid
would
only.
need the auto bid. Yeah,
What if, let's say, a committee member came to this board, Griggs, and
Yeah.
said, Chattanooga, they won the SoCon regular season title. I get they didn't win the tournament, but don't they belong in?
well, and they may say that. I mean, well, I don't know. Like, it's highly unlikely that anybody on the committee would know that Chattanooga won the Sun Belt or the SoCon title. But say someone did, like say somebody was actually paying attention to basketball throughout the year and wanted Chattanooga in, that could happen. But then they'd come to this board and they'd realize, oh no, Hoops Jesus, eliminate them. We can't even consider
I
it.
can't even think about it. Now, what if they're thinking about, say, Oklahoma? We just did a bracket rundown show earlier today. They
Yeah.
were our second to last team in. What are we telling the committee to do when it comes to discussing Oklahoma?
Well, this is a good question, Chad, and it's one, and they're like, what do we do? And we're like, well, you need to decide. And then they'll ask again, no, seriously, like, what do we do? Like, do we take them or not? And I know last year you were getting phone calls sometimes 3-4 an hour asking you what they're supposed to do. And what did you tell them? You all just need to decide.
They just need to decide. They may have to flip a coin or something, but they'll have to decide.
Yeah.
Let's go to our countdown. Best 15 trophies in college
Yeah.
athletics. A real quick recap. We've already seen the wagon wheel, the old bucket, the rest of the mythical conference buckets,
Yeah.
the Concordia St. Olaf Troll, the Border War Trophy, the one and only Winwood Cup. We love
How
Steve
did you
Winwood here.
get the picture of what?
It's great. It's phenomenal.
That's the real thing, Griggs.
You know, I
You
mean,
told us
it's
it's
the
been out there for
trophy.
50 years.
Yeah.
The Silver Shako, another real trophy here,
Yeah.
VMI Citadel. An actual Gouch Eater,
The
bronze.
actual, bronze gouge eater.
Last night we saw that this was great. The entire Southland Conference tournament court is a trophy and is one of those. But we've got another one here tonight.
Yeah.
Number 6, best trophy in college athletics. It's King Spud.
The King Spud, a
Jeez.
a real trophy that's given to the Idaho State. Chad, I have a few interesting facts about this trophy. Would you like
Okay,
to
go.
hear them?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. So not many people know this, but this artifact it's somewhere between 10,000 and 20,000 years old. It was discovered in Idaho in 1804 by Lewis and Clark. They were on that expedition looking for and they came across it, and it was actually George Rogers Clark who, while they were in Idaho, they went to a basketball game, 1804, Idaho State playing Idaho. Idaho won that game, and he presented them with the King Spud Trophy that they had found. And ever since then, they've been that's been the winner has gone to whoever wins that rivalry. And another thing is because of the King Spud, it actually it inspired the invention of the potato a few years
Wow.
later in the state of Ohio. So some
Wow.
interesting facts there.
So King Spud
Interesting.
predated the potato even.
Yes, yeah.
That is amazing facts. I did
Yeah.
not know any of that. I would have never known that was the truth.
Yeah.
On that note, let's go to any other final thoughts here. Mike, let me start with you.
Yeah, been pretty excited about the conference tournaments thus far, but the smaller conference tournaments they're gonna come down to an end, and then we're gonna have the big ones start play. But because it's so early for those, I'm still a lot more interested in the smaller ones, especially tomorrow, a West Coast final. I'm really excited about that, and let the good times roll here.
Yeah, Horizon and Northeast tomorrow as well. It's going to be a fun night of small conference championships. Dorman.
Yeah, just going to give Drake a little due of what they accomplished this year. Their coach, as we know, left last year, went off to West Virginia. Well-deserved job by Coach DeVries. And they hired Ben McCullum, who came from Division II, Northwest Missouri State, and brought with him four of his players. And everyone was giving him a hard time. And how could we need Division I players and all this and that. And one of the guys he brought was Junior Bennett Sturts, who was just simply amazing this year. He was the Missouri Valley Player of the Year. He was simply amazing. He was awesome. And when they had some rough times over this last weekend in the conference tournament, he picked them up big time, especially in the semifinal. He is their heart and soul. And it just goes to show you, and he was with his coach last year at Northwest Missouri State. And as crazy as this is, he was second team all conference last year. That's how great the talent is out there that all these young men and women are playing with. And I don't care what division it is. There is so much talent in basketball at all these different levels and such great coaches at all these different levels. And it's great to see this story succeed because it opens up and gives, other schools that look besides your top assistants and coaches who have been around a lot. So a great job by the Drake administration, a great story for Drake. They deserved it because they really thought about this decision, went with it, and wasn't popular but paid off. And a great job by Drake.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Drake also. They just missed the top 25 poll today in the AP. They came in number 26. I mentioned that because there will be one more poll before the tournament. I believe that they will most likely crack it because somebody above them will lose in the conference tournaments, and we will not have the year without a single under the radar tournament in the top 25. I think we will, with the final poll, get a team in the top 25. We'll see what happens next Monday. Greg, do you want to finish off the show?
Yeah, it's with the power tournaments, the multi-bid tournaments starting to get underway. It does feel that conference tournaments aren't quite the same as they were 20 years ago, 25 years ago. They're still a big deal, but for a while, a tournament like the ACC, when it was in its classic 8 in 19 format, the participants or the schools, some of them would have told you that given the choice between winning the ACC tournament or going to the Final Four, they may have picked it would have been about the same. I mean, it meant that much. The Big East was another one that was just, I mean, winning that. Pittsburgh I remember hearing someone say that while Pitt had never been to the Final Four, that was okay because they'd won the Big East tournament and that was just as good. Um, I don't want to say that they don't mean anything, but they don't seem to mean as much to the players, coaches. I mean, they on paper they mean they don't mean any less than what they used to, but it's not quite the same, and it'll certainly feel that way when I'm watching Notre Dame and Pitt tomorrow.
Oh, you're actually gonna be the person watching that game then.
Yeah, but it isn't like I mean, it isn't just the pressure. Some of those old ACC and Big East tournaments, if you pull them up on YouTube, I mean, it was just like the Roman Colosseum. It was just unhinged. The
That
WAC used to get nuts. The Southwest Conference used to get. Remember those? God, they were nuts. Big Eight.
On that note, I do want to thank everybody for joining us. We'll be back again tomorrow with another Championship Week video notebook. On behalf of David Dorman, Mike Chod, David Griggs, I'm Chad Sherwood, and I just want to do is say a fond and final farewell to the Sun Belt Conference Tournament and the Stairway to Seven.